Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network, another edition of Off the Top Rope. It seems like a weekly occurrence. Late in the week, I talk about the AEW ratings. I didn't want to think too much about this, considering that they were going up against the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals, despite not getting really well rated, this was a really competitive game between the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. So it was going to affect clearly what was going on with AEW, and they had a 4-hour broadcast. Obviously, the second half of it was not very well received because it's Collision. Nobody really watches Collision. But I need to, really hammer home a point that I've been hammering home for the last couple of weeks. I understand that, the battle that's really being waged on between, NXT and AEW is a little bit different because NXT is on free television. It's much more easier to access. Here's the thing. If we're going to talk about, just strictly about what AEW is doing, like they were sub 600,000. And I understand, hey, some people are just stuck in their own ways and thinking that there's 500,000 people watching on Max. I have no reason to believe that. But here's the interesting thing to me. They were pretty much flat with the 18 to 49. They were 0.18 a week ago. They were 0.17 this week. They were 655 in the total rating, 597 this week. So I don't think there's really much of a difference here. Like the small number that dropped, this is what they are. That's my problem. This is what they are. Like, you could blame the NBA Finals. You could blame any number of things that were going on. You could blame, the College World Series doesn't even start until Friday. You can blame a number of different things. Like, the fact that everybody on the AEW side is just settling for mediocrity when they're supposed to be going into their biggest North American show of all time, lackluster build, all these things, whatnot. And even some people are still trying to say, yeah, we still got so many people watching on Max. I watch on Max, but the average person is not going to watch on Max. They're going to watch on cable. And if you're not going to drive people to be interested in your product, which started out closer to 1 million than not, now you're just content being at, right sub 700,000. And yes, this was sub 600,000. This was kind of like, this is what they are. And my issue with this company and my issue with this fan base, and I consistently interact with people on this channel, and sometimes I do make it about NXT, because, yes, I understand NXT is on, free tel, but NXT, as good as it's been, they don't have mainstream stars. Cable or not, like, this company should be drawing better than what they're doing. They should. And there's really no excuse for this. And then you add on just these lackluster cards that they've been doing. Now they have these 4-hour blocks. They're not connecting with their audience. And yet we're like, oh yeah, they were still number 1 or 2 on cable behind this and that. It's like, no shit. You weren't going to beat the NBA Finals. We understand that. But this goalpost moving and this constant need to just defend against, I understand that some people think that I'm a grifter here, that I'm just trying to poke AEW fans for the ratings and everything. At this point, it's just becoming too easy for me. It really is, because, and I don't mean to just come on here and hammer home the same point, but until I seem to get through to some of these people, and I get through to some of those people in the back who probably are not even watching this, and why would they? You guys think that you call me Mickey Mouse Mike, you call me all of these names, you try to get at me. It's like, listen, the fact that you're interacting with me, the fact that you think you're trying to be smart asses to me because you think that I'm wrong, then try to go prove that your company is actually worth a damn. When you have sub 600,000 people, guys, they were at 655 last week. If you think 55,000 people is that big of a slide, guys, that's a marginal decline. I expected them to be around this number. The fact that they're not increasing and they keep decreasing, despite the talent that they keep bringing into this place, that is alarming. With Mercedes Moné, Hangman Adam Page, Jon Moxley, Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland, they bring in all of these different stars, Tony Storm, they have all these different people who are recognizable names, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, MVP, the Hurt Syndicate, you have MJF there. And yet you still are struggling to get over 700,000 viewers. I give you a convenient excuse, really, with the NBA Finals going on at the same time as your game. But still, you should still be able to draw like other wrestling shows. And I understand that they're not trying to be they're trying to be the alternative. But my issue with this place is what they were when they didn't have all of these high-priced talent in their company. They were getting close to 1 million viewers. You don't mean to tell me that you can't do that if you can actually produce compelling and interesting television? They don't care. They got their money and they are checked out. And that's why their attendance it's starting to go back up. There is some interest in the product, but in general, they can't produce compelling storylines to attract, other people within that place. And there is an opening for them possibly with WWE not really delivering their highest quality product. They're still drawing incredible houses in their ratings. Depending on who you talk to, with some of these tribalistic grifters who are just trying to point at the Netflix numbers and whatever. It's ridiculous. But all of this excuse making really needs to stop or just trying to justify the numbers of what they are. It's not a good number. No matter competition or not, you have a talent base that is much better than what this number that is delivering to Turner and to Warner Brothers Discovery. It's just not good enough. And when you put on a show that really for 4 hours was kind of just there, and you're literally inside of 30 days trying to deliver a compelling pay-per-view to the North American fans in Arlington, Texas, yeah, they'll probably draw an incredible house. They'll probably deliver an incredible wrestling show, but it's clear they're not willing to change. They're not willing to, alter their ways to get better numbers. They're content with this. And the fact that nothing changes on a week-to-week basis to try and change things up or shake up the system, that's what bothers me. That's what bothers me. And why can't they beat NXT? It shouldn't be about cable, non-cable. It shouldn't be about that. It should be about you have a better talent pool than what NXT has. NXT may have a better production and more experienced people on that side because they've been producing television for a long time. And, the NXT talent pool in terms of their women is much better than the men's talent pool. But in terms of stars and names, AEW has got NXT lapped. And cable or not, you should be able to beat them. And I've been saying this for weeks on weeks. And nobody can get it through their thick skulls within the executive capacity, Tony Khan, whoever, and some of the people within that fan base. They're just content. Hey, oh yeah, sub 600,000. Yeah, hey, we were guys. You basically lost about 55,000 viewers because of the NBA Finals. That's like a marginal decline. It's a marginal decline. Why can't you be getting closer to 700, 800,000? You were getting that a couple years ago when your talent pool wasn't as deep as it is now. What are CM Punk and Cody Rhodes that big of a draw for you guys to hang your hats on? It's just they alienated some of the outsiders or some of the people that were like casuals with all this Young Bucks and all this CM Punk nonsense. WWE got hot and really kind of put them in the jugular. So all you people who are getting mad with the counter programming and everything, this is because WWE smells blood. And WWE may not be as great as they were the last couple of years, but it's just everybody being content with just, substandard numbers is really starting to bother me. And that's why I wanted to do this video. And I didn't want to really get into the ratings again, but just the excuse making and everything that's been going on. And I understand they had some competition, but you look at the numbers week to week, there wasn't much of a change. 55,000 people in the grand scheme of things. That's not, in terms of television, that's not a big decline. And we know what the core reason was, but that tells you that that's what you are. A substandard wrestling product. Be better. You're 30 days out from a big show, and it doesn't feel like it. And believe me, I'm going to get to that later on. So anyway, stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.